It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was the right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have them some fun, cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
Office. And now, behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
Hey, y'all, welcome to Alan Autry, No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry, so honored and humble, as always, to have you with us today on Free for All Friday. My favorite, everybody's got a favorite day. Mine's Friday. I love all the days before, but I really, really, really love Free for All Friday for some reason. Not because it's the end of the week and the weekend, because I just love being with y'all. It's just something about it. And I'm so honored to have with us Bullet, Bob Leone. Bullet, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Hoss.
You have come on. You've developed a fan base that's just off the charts.
I think it's my wife.
He's a great. No,
I don't know if she's my fan.
Well, she is.
Yeah.
And numbers, and I know you're a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
The numbers are showing when you came on the show. Things are up, and
well, you're very
frankly, I'm jealous. And I
don't
didn't
think you have
plan
anything
this.
to worry about.
I didn't plan this kind of little mutiny of charisma here.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
And also, zooming in, I'm killing some time here trying to see if we can get the picture up. Zooming in from Michigan, where he is there with his beautiful wife and her family. Well, his family as well, obviously. Guillermo Marino. Are you there, Guillermo?
I'm here. I broke the camera.
What?
Well, sometimes, as they say, that's 7 years bad light. No, it's a mirror.
Yeah.
How is it for a camera?
Your talent's still coming through again, Guillermo.
Yeah. I break cameras,
Breaking
but for
stuff.
different reasons. When I look at them, they tend to crack.
You can call me Oz, not Dr. Oz, but I'll be the voice behind the curtain.
There you go. Hey, how's that race going? Anybody know?
I haven't heard.
They doing a recount? Go ahead.
900 votes. 900 votes separates them, but they have 10,000 left to count.
Do they have any kind of demographical analysis on those 10,000, or is it just random? I mean, that maybe the demographic would favor one or the other? No?
They don't know yet because those 10,000 are in black hefty bags by the back door. So as soon as they're able to get them inside,
That's
they're going to
the way. Won't be any
Yeah.
controversy in that election. Now, isn't there an automatic recount if it's under?
I think if it's a certain percentage or how close the vote is, the first vote is, they do an automatic recount in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know.
Recount.
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of hope the Oz man wins. Other than I don't know about his liberal past. I just watched him on the show when he would just give really good advice on medical things. And it was in a way that people could understand. And I know people think he's had, there was a couple of folks in here in the studio who I admire greatly that had a lot of misgivings about about Emmett, don't call me the Wizard Oz, about his candidacy. But people change. Right. Trump, the same people who think Trump walks on water, Trump was a flaming liberal, not just a liberal. I mean, big time, 100% liberal at one time, Guillermo. And yet he's transitioned. People transition, not just sexually, but politically.
You can be whatever you want to be these days. I don't see why you can't, transition from a Republican or from a Democrat into a Republican.
If you can do from a man to woman to man, why can't you do that? I mean, it happened to Reagan. Reagan will tell you he was a Democrat, and one day he woke up and go, I'm a Democrat, but I feel like I'm a Republican.
Hoss, do you remember?
I'm a Republican trapped in a Democratic Party. I need to transition.
When he won the governor's
I remember that well.
California.
I really do.
Was he a Republican then, or was he still had he just
yes, he was.
Party?
He was a Republican then. He was a Democrat when he headed up the Screen Actors Guild.
Okay, so he got the governorship in what, 66,
I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it was about how old he was too when he got.
So he'd made the transition.
He had made the transition, and hey, here's one going to get you, Guillermo. I bet you don't know this. Maybe you do though, because you follow politics pretty well. You know who was a Republican at one time and became Democrat? One Elizabeth. Well, guys, no, he's a ranchero, but no, he's the ultimate El Camino. He is the ultimate. Now, on the Democrat side, you have the ranchero. You won't find too many rancheros. What does that mean, folks? Well, ranchero, is it a truck or is it a car? Well, it depends on what position they're taking at the time, and what's going to help them get elected. Mitt Romney is a classic El Camino, but Elizabeth Warren was a Republican at one time.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
Are you serious?
It shocked the living out of me too when I heard that.
She used to. Huh? She says she was part. She says she's part Indian too, so I'm not sure I believe her.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal on India. How do you test that? I'm Cherokee Choctaw, and the only way I can prove that is I saw a picture of my mom when she was 23. And she looks like Pocahontas, and she'd laugh. She'd laugh about that. She does. She looks, as Indian as can be.
Yes,
you can't deny.
Oh yeah,
Dennis Wofford nicknamed her Navajo.
How's Nav doing?
I never quite.
But
got
yeah,
that
but people, they back to Oz. Guillermo, Bobby, listeners, I just asked this question. Look at the climate today with politics. You get in automatically, as you make or pondering the decision to get into politics at any level, local, state, federal level, you're going to get beat up. They're going to make up crazy things about you that can destroy your career. And you still decide to do that. And on top of that, because he's a smart guy, whether you like him or not, he's smart, intelligent. On top of that, he's very, very rich. So why in the world would he want to come in and say, okay, in this later
Doesn't
age,
need to do it.
I want to run and I'm going to be a fake Republican to get elected. It makes no sense to me. So anyway, I hope he pulls it out. Apparently this guy, who's he running again? A guy named with an M, McCormick or something. Anyway.
McCormick.
Is it McCormick? Apparently very well regarded in the Republican Party. And, there's probably not going to be a disaster if either one of those guys win. I think they have a good chance to win in the against this fellow who just had, I forget his name, a Democrat had a stroke recently, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But anyway, following that. All right. Hey, before we get into, we're going to unveil a new segment today.
Yeah. What is that?
Well, it's What Knucklehead Said That, or What Knucklehead Did That.
Knucklehead of the Week.
Who's the Knucklehead of the Week? And which would be followed by the Knothead of the Week. And it'll be a 3-part little trilogy, the Bonehead of the Week here. And it's open to all genres, politics, entertainment, just everyday life, period. But, I know, Guillermo, you've followed this Adventure Church Tower District controversy, right? You've had the pastor on the show, a lot. And it looks like, the city came in and is going to buy the church, and why the city stuck their nose into that. And I know that's a big thing, big problem that you have with that, as do I. And I think most people have. Why'd you pick this issue? A church, Adventure Church, has been there, leased a building, paid on time, put a lot of money in the building, was doing great things there, no problem. So they wanted to buy it. And then folks in the Tower District, a few vociferous folks got together, didn't like it, protested, and finally came against the church. And it looks like they're going to win this thing. And what I've heard is our correspondent out on the field, Scoop Johnson, has gotten some emails that were leaked by the community organizers there in the Tower District. And apparently this controversy is brought some attention to the Tower District. Even, the faith, that God, and do we need a church in here? No, take the church out, this and that. So apparently they want to kind of capitalize on that and kind of get more visitors. So I guess they're working on some slogans and mottos. And we happen to have Scoop sent here, and I'd just like to give you a few. Guillermo, you there on this? It's so
this is from the organizers?
Yes, this is the community organizers there that are apparently this Scoop got a hold of this leaked email.
That guy's amazing.
He is amazing.
I mean, he gets things and no one else can. It's amazing.
The Putin Xi Jinping tape.
How did he do that?
I don't want to know.
He's not naming sources, obviously.
He lives a dangerous life.
He's got to be undercover.
That's how much he loves Guillermo and KXEX. He wouldn't work anyplace else, he told me. He's on a mission.
Okay.
So here's the emails he sent me. Here's some of the slogans and mottos that they're considering, around the faith, the church thing, and the controversy now that they've won. The first one says, here's what they're considering. Welcome to the Tower District, where we worship the Virgin Mary, the frozen daiquiri, the bourbon and Coke, and the shot of tequila. Okay, that's one.
Is there more?
Oh, gosh. There's a couple more.
Oh.
Welcome to the Tower District, where nothing says family values like a tattoo, blue hair, and a nose ring. Okay, this is pretty catchy. I kind of like that.
Scoop's on top of this stuff.
Scoop is, and here's one that I don't kind of like this one, but it's considered. They're considering. Welcome to. Oh God!
Oh,
welcome to the Tower District, a land flowing with milk and honey, and urine. Lots and lots of urine.
Why do I feel like Ed McMahon over here?
Oh, God. No,
are there any more?
Oh, there's a couple more.
There's more. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the Tower District, where we can't give our soul to God because we've already sold it to the city council.
Now that's a good one. I like that one.
Okay. But I can get where they're going. Okay, just two more, unless they're going to have to pick from this. Oh, God, I'm going to be. Welcome to the Tower District. Satan doesn't live here, but he does lease an Airbnb during the summer. When Satan was asked why he picked the Tower District to live during this hot months, he simply said, well, I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of home. All right. The last one here that he's got. This is the last one.
The last one here.
Welcome to the Tower District. We don't have a prayer. Okay. We've got those out of the way there. Scoop, thank you very much for sharing those with us. Appreciate it. I love the Tower District. Can't wait to go to the Tower District, and I think you may be
awesome part of the town.
Maybe on to something. Guillermo, do you watch movies, right? You're a movie. You and your wife are movie watchers, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know an actor named Ray Liotta?
Yes.
Yeah, did you see he passed away?
Yes, in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I just found that out today.
Where
at the gym. I was at the gym, and I just love Ray Liotta and so many things. He Goodfellas movie, and then the Fields of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, awesome.
And Bobby's got a little kind of a little side note, which I think people might find interesting. With it has nothing to do with the emails in the Tower District. This is for real here.
Yeah. No. Well, Kevin Costner expressing his condolences on the passing of Ray Liotta, and remembered their scene from Field of Dreams when Ray Liotta, who played Shoeless Joe Jackson in the movie, and Kevin Costner was on the mound at the Field of Dreams, and Kevin Costner threw a pitch toward Ray Liotta, and he's supposed to swing and hit the ball, which he did, and he hit a line drive right back toward Costner, had to duck out of the way, and it hit the ball bag that was sitting on the mound. And Costner said, God gave us that scene because apparently Ray Liotta really did do that and nailed that ball right back toward Costner.
Hey, a lot of people don't think that he did that.
Costner had to jump out of the way.
Yeah. That's what kind Costner of a neat little thing to know about those.
That's what Costner said. That was a great movie.
Yes,
and he did a great job.
And Ray Liotta, to him and his family, I mean, obviously he's not with us, but his family is still here and mourning his loss. Apparently, he was just, where was he? In Jamaica, you said?
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, getting ready.
He was only 67.
Yeah, getting ready to do a movie, and apparently just went to bed and didn't wake up.
And a great role in Goodfellas too.
I tell you, it's just you never know. That's why you just got to make sure you have your house in order. You're right with the Lord, because it says in the Bible, in a twinkling of an eye, you're no longer here. Hey, before we take a break here, I want to start in on this and I may get a little heat for this, but man, I just don't like jumping to conclusions. I don't like it when people do it about me. I don't like it when I have done it about concerning others or situations. Things on the surface, when you have limited information. Life has taught me a real tough lessons, and I adhere to it. I try to adhere to it always, no matter what something looks like at the beginning. Let the story unfold a little bit more before you start making hardcore judgments about anybody or anything. There may be more to the story. Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. And what I'm referring to in this instance is the way the police, the law enforcement folks acted at Uvalde in the first stage of this assault by this 18-year-old killer, Salvador Ramos. They are really getting hammered public relation-wise because apparently parents were there pleading with these officers to go into the building, go save my kids. And optically, it does look bad. But you got to understand, this is Uvalde, Texas. Those law enforcement folks that were first on the scene, they'd gone out probably, the most dangerous thing is go out and check Farmer John's chickens that were stolen and try to track them down. I don't mean that to be insulting or even to be funny. I'm just at all. I'm just saying, obviously, they're not trained like a urban SWAT outfit would be trained, which was needed in that rural setting inside that school. We're finding now that more and more information is coming out as to why they did what they did. I tell you one thing, I know what they weren't letting the parents in. One of the things any law enforcement personnel under a situation like this, whether it be rural or in urban environment, when you have somebody who has a gun, has a hostage in a dangerous situation, you don't let the public go in. They put themselves in danger. You got to keep people out. And there was an incident where I guess a mother scaled the fence, ran in, got her kid, ran out. I guess my question, Guillermo, to you and Bobby and listeners is, are we jumping to conclusions a little bit here in saying that these police folks, these law enforcement folks were cowardly, they should be ashamed, and dereliction of duty, and all the things that are being thrown around right now until we know a little bit more? Or is it justified in your mind, the criticism they're taking right now? Guillermo?
It's justified.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you listen, we're in America, and one of the things that we do is we have obviously the freedom of expression. An hour is a long time, and I know we don't know the facts, and more is going to come out. And I was talking to my wife about this as we were talking about this. I just couldn't imagine having my son or daughter, and I'm outside. And granted, it's probably a hectic scene, PD saying, step back. But just hearing bullets, at some point in time, your adrenaline takes over, and you say, you know what, I don't care. And I told my wife, it's Texas. Aren't some of those parents packing? Scale the fence, get in there, and run towards it. So I'm not sure, what these law enforcement officers were faced with, but it's just a horrible situation. I think any type of criticism is well justified. We don't live in North Korea, and a lot of these parents are reeling right now. And I couldn't imagine being a parent and just knowing if my child had been shot, just being on the outside for an hour. It's incomprehensible. Yeah.
Well, I just saw on the monitor just after we went to air that there has been a spokesman has indicated that the tactics that the policemen took at the time were to, as I read it, was to stand back, and they're now admitting that was not the right thing to do. So they've come out and said that what they did was probably not the appropriate thing to do at that time in that moment. But again, you're talking about a chaotic situation. The first time a lot of these folks have ever been confronted, the law enforcement folks have ever been confronted with this type of situation. So they're admitting that they probably should have done something different than what they did. Is the criticism valid? Probably so, I guess, at this point. It's such a difficult situation. How do you clean this up?
One side of me agrees with you and Guillermo. The other side of me, I kind of close my eyes and put myself there. What we're asking, the critics of the police are asking those law enforcement folks that were there, which were basically local law enforcement, in this little town of 16,000. They didn't have a resource officer, I guess, was not there. The initial report was that the killer,
school, correct.
You're right, the killer confronted the resource officer, which is untrue.
Incorrect, yeah.
Which I don't know where Governor Abbott got that. They're going to have to be accountable for that. But what we're, in essence, asking or saying should have been done is one of those local law enforcement officers with a handgun charge the building with that handgun, knowing the guy has an assault rifle and lots of ammo, run in there, jump into the building, and go from room to room and confront the person and kill him. That, again, I've always said, if you can't, because that's what a law enforcement officer is supposed to do, put him or herself in the line of fire between the law-abiding public and the threat that's out there. But was that the right way to do that? Did they know that, you could say, were the shots killed? Was he just shooting, or was he killing people? And the retort to that would probably be, Alan, you have to assume that he's shooting people. I get that, and I probably agree with you. But I just don't believe it's cut and dry, black and white. I think that's an awful lot to ask someone to do, to just, like the movies, run in there, Tommy Lee Jones or whatever.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry, run through there, kick in the door, and go save the kids. But then the other side of me said, hey, that's what you signed up for.
Well,
that's what you signed up for. You should have done it.
And yeah, and as Guillermo pointed out, I think and we discussed earlier, in the days and weeks to come, all of this, the tactical, what they were planning to do, the tactics they were planning to use, the time frames, all of this stuff is going to come out. And at that point, we can all make our value judgment and decide, hey, did they do the right thing? Did they do the wrong thing? But it'll all come out in due time.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the question on the table is going to be, is it time for some common sense gun control laws that do not infringe on our Second Amendment rights? Mitch McConnell seems to think, yes, now's the time. He's given the green light for the Republican caucus or whatever committee that he's going to put together, work with the Democrats to come up with that. He's taking a lot of criticism on that, whether this is the first step in a confiscation of guns. We come back, we're going to talk about this. This is Alan Autry. Man, we still don't have Guillermo. We don't have you, man. I'm just looking at a picture of me and Mr. T.
I know. Hey, I'm going to get off the stream. Can you tell the guys that I'm going to leave and then see if I can fix my video, but I'm going to rejoin it. So just tell them to keep looking for me. Let me see if I can fix this.
You got Jeremy. Jeremy just heard you. He's got you. Okay.
Sounds good.
Oh, that tower, that was funny.
Huh?
That was funny. I felt like Ed McMahon here. I was like, how many more do you have? It's like Johnny with the envelopes. You know, we're now on our last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he'd go, may a sacred camel leave a holy relic in your shoe.
I don't know.
My favorite there was, go to the tower. Nothing says family values like a tattoo, blue hair, and a nose ring.
Did you write all those?
Well, I had nothing to do. What else do I do? I'm going to get in trouble when I go there. Yeah. I love the Tower District. I love it.
Yeah, you got great restaurants down there.
Yeah, got great people.
Yeah.
Great people with blue hair, too, and nose rings.
Hey,
super good people.
I have no problem with people with blue hair.
Or nose rings. Or tattoos. I wouldn't have any.
Not my cup of tea, but hey.
Probably not a time to get a nose ring when you're 69. Probably not look too well. Like one of those old retired bulls out at Maddox Dairy. Over there in the corner, barely moved. Yeah.
Can't quite get the moo out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I thought there was some breaking news in there somewhere, but I guess it was just for you to do that.
Scoop is unbelievable. One of these days.
I'll tell you what. Whatever that guy's getting paid, he's underpaid.
It's not enough.
And
it's simply not enough.
It really isn't. I mean,
how quickly he travels.
Yeah, I was going to say that. To come from the Ukraine. Well,
he's in China.
He's
the meeting
in China.
with Putin was with China when he did the bit where Putin went to, and he was able to sneak in there and plant the recording device.
Why did I think he was?
Get the recording device, jump on a plane.
Hightail it back here to Fresno.
And get that email, I mean, he's well connected.
Yeah,
he's got
to say the least, yeah.
Tower District to Beijing. Who else has connections from the Tower District to Beijing?
I can't even imagine who that would be.
Guy is.
He's unbelievable.
I do a movie about him. They should do a movie about him.
I thought he had was going to do a stopover on the Poland-Ukraine border, but I guess that maybe next week he'll be. Give us some info on that.
Hey, Scoop just asked. Here's the kind of guy Scoop is. Where do you want me to go, boss? He told me the other day, tell Robert, wherever you need me to go.
30 seconds?
I believe in you guys that much. I believe in you guys that much.
Someday I'm going to have to meet this guy.
Me too. He's a shadowy figure.
He lives in the shadows. Guillermo's off.
No, he's trying to get back on. He said Guillermo's
10
off.
seconds?
It's a loaded statement. Just a little. He owns a radio station. Can't be all there.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
Welcome back to Alan Autry, No Retreat. Oh, yeah, this is my dedication to Kamala Harris. Turn it up, Jeremy. Yeah! Welcome back to Alan Autry, No Retreat. There's Guillermo. He is here looking handsome as ever. Okay. Now, you little technological wizard, you. Look at you. You know, nobody looks good zooming.
We've got
the guy looks like he's getting ready to accept an award, Academy Awards. Look at that dude. Mrs. Marino, you raised a handsome young man. Look at those teeth.
Not only picture, but audio as well.
Audio, look in there,
and video,
and look like dramatically backlit. It's like from above.
Who's
like
the
heaven
stage
above,
manager?
the light upon him. Oh, that is a great visage.
Who's
right
the
there,
lighting
buddy.
tech back there?
All right, folks on radio say, what the hell are they talking about? Get back to some serious stuff. All right, let's get back to the serious stuff. Is it time for... No, you're looking good, Guillermo. Oh, yeah, you're looking... Nah, yeah, go ahead and close that. There you go. There you go. Just close the curtain behind them, radio folks. There you go. Back to that. Is it time? Do the Republicans have any choice but to engage in some good faith, underscore good faith, negotiations about some, listen to me carefully, common sense gun control laws or tweaks or whatever that would in some way help what happened at Uvalde and other places not happen again, knowing full well that's not a panacea, it's not a cure, there's no way. You're not going to get rid of guns in this country, but would help a little bit, and those laws not infringe on our Second Amendment rights. The question is it time, number one, Orly? Okay. Would it be what should the Republicans do then? Guillermo, let's go with you, buddy. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well,
as they say in New Jersey. Yeah.
In order to have a negotiation, a successful one, you have to have two parties that understand the problem and that fully get it and are ready to move forward. I mean, you saw Beto O'Rourke, you saw the president of the United States coming back from Asia, hyper politicize this issue. My problem is with the current people that you have in the United States Senate, in the White House, and in Congress, they don't understand how to solve this problem. All they want to do is score political points. And Republicans are always the ones that have to essentially move towards the middle and become bipartisan. Bipartisan to me on an issue like this means that Republicans cave and the Democrats get everything they want. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about right there in the studio, we said, hey, your side's not going to get everything your side wants. The other side's not going to get everything they want. We have to have some kind of agreement in the middle. That's a great compromise. On gun control, with this set of folks, no compromise. And if there is going to be a compromise, Alan, I guarantee you that the Republicans are going to give up way too much ground to the Democrats. The Democrats don't want to talk about the true issues of hardening schools and making sure that our schools are safe. There's tons of money going to education. They don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the guns. So no, the Republicans shouldn't be willing to do anything bipartisan without the left coming and offering some true concessions on their behalf.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and it couldn't happen at a worse time. Well, when is a good time for something like this to happen? Never. Tragedy like this. But it's a political year. You got midterms coming up. How do you keep that political poison from seeping in to quote unquote good faith, compromise on this very important issue that affects the Second Amendment so much? It's just, but my point being, I don't know if the parties have a chance. I think the big eye of America is on both parties. Just like you said, Republicans, if you hold out and think that, hey, it's okay to have a Stinger missile and, in your house and park a tank in your driveway, you think it's all right. Or far left, if you think confiscation of guns is going to be the answer, I think people are saying, wait a minute, folks, we're watching you. There's some stuff that can be done, but don't go overboard either way. And it's kind of a political dilemma for the two parties. I agree with you. Historically, that's been the case. Democrats, it's all or nothing, a zero-sum game. And I just think this year, I think whoever is able to hate to use this cliche, but it's those that have their hand on the pulse of America are going to be the ones. We got Sue from Dallas, Texas, calling in about. She has a perspective on the Texas shooting. Jeremy, let's go to Sue. I haven't heard from her in a while. She is from Texas, so we want to hear what she has to say. Sue, are you there?
I'm from Texas.
Hey,
yeah.
Sue. How are you, dear?
Fine.
Yeah. What's your perspective on the shooting?
Well, I mean, it's tragedy. I mean, that's all you can say. The only thing is it could get kind of rocky around here tonight with the NRA holding their conference in Houston.
Oh, that's right.
Which is less than 3 hours from Uvalde.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, there was already protesters, and Trump and Governor Abbott and Ted Cruz were supposed to speak. Well, Governor Abbott's backed out. He ain't speaking now.
I saw that.
And, he knows there's a target on his forehead. Because not that he did anything with the assault rifle, but, I mean, he last year changed the gun laws where a concealed weapon didn't have to have a license anymore. He took that out. And then he also, when they were asking him in the news conference, they were asking him about what happened and everything. He wasn't saying it was a gun, that it was the gun. It was mental illness. He kept saying it's mental illness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he said that the long gun law has been on the books for 60 years. And nothing happened prior to that, a long time ago. There's nothing wrong with the law. Well, but they didn't have assault rifles 60 years ago. The law just covered shotguns and stuff like that.
Let me ask you this, because you live in Dallas, obviously. How far is Uvalde from Dallas?
Oh, gosh.
Quite a ways, isn't it?
Down southwest. Yeah, it's southwest.
But obviously the reverberations of this tragedy has hit the entire nation, but in particular all of Texas. Do you think this incident is going to change some minds of folks that heretofore were for not changing any gun laws and keep it the way things are? Or do you think it's going to be, as Guillermo says, and looks like Abbott is going to just dig in their heels and say, hey, this was, nothing could have prevented this. You can't make laws that take the guns away from law-abiding people. That, as Guillermo said, if the site would have been secured and you had someone there that was trained with a weapon, that's the way to deal with this, not disarm law-abiding people. Where do you think Texas is going to stay secure, or you think the mood in Dallas and other places around the state is going to change in the direction of...
I think...
Go ahead.
It's the assault weapon.
Okay.
I mean, no one, I myself and no one I've talked to, Republican or Democrats, that seems to be the whole topic of the conversation when, you're with somebody. And, there were, 4 Republicans. 3 of them says they have a gun, but they have it in their home for safety, to protect themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Case, I mean, so I think everybody's blowing this out of proportion to say that they want to take the guns away. It's not a matter of taking the guns away. It's the assault weapons.
I got you. Yeah, you make
that seems to be the
big thing.
gun of choice with the teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point. I'm sure that's
raise that age limit where you can't buy it. I mean, here in Texas,
we got to go to it. We got to go to a break. Sue, we got to go. We got to go to a break here. But I really appreciate.
Okay.
I really appreciate your perspective, and you always bring a lot of wisdom, a lot of common sense every time you call, and I appreciate you. But we got to take a break, pay some bills, and again, appreciate your call so much. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. We'll be right back.
I mean, there's just so much to look at here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Guillermo's got a point. He's got a very strong point that historically it's been a zero-sum game when you sit down and talk about these things, because the left, there's no denying that the end game is confiscation. They want Australian-style confiscation at the very least. And their motive would be Beijing-style confiscation. That's the ultimate goal. And again, that's that far left that seems to be controlling this administration and controlling the narrative that comes out of the Democratic Party. But I hope the Republicans understand this is a great opportunity. Get your top negotiators in there. Have your things that are on the table that you be willing to negotiate. For example, Guillermo, and Bullet. I was thinking, I don't know if I would be against some kind of proficiency test when you buy a gun. When you go get in a car's a means of transportation, but it's also a deadly weapon. Because you drive at a high rate of speed, you don't have to be going very fast to it. If you run over somebody, a pedestrian or somebody on a bike, you can kill them. 10 miles an hour, you can do that. So you're behind the wheel of a deadly weapon. So there's a certain proficiency that you have to show. You know how to handle this car. Do you know how to turn signal? Do you know what to look for? You got to pass a little test. I'm wondering, maybe it's time that you have some kind of test that shows you know how to handle this, not only for somebody else or your own safety. Guillermo, you're shaking your head. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Absolutely not. Hey, listen, everyone has to remember, this is a constitutionally protected right. And I know Joe Biden's going to say, well, the deer, they ain't wearing Kevlar vests. That's got to be, he brings that up every single time. No, there's no constitutional right that you should have to take a proficiency test on. Look at the First Amendment. There's a lot of dumb stuff that's said out there. They don't have to take a proficiency test.
Yeah, but words don't kill.
Well,
no, words don't blow your brains out all over the wall.
But words can be highly offensive.
Yes, but that's not violent. We on this show go against that. We're saying, look, words are not violence. Words are not. The left says they are. You say this word, and it's violent. We're on here says, no, you can say whatever you want. It's not going to kill you. Just turn the other cheek. But if you're fiddling around with a gun, you take a gun home, and you don't know how to operate it, and your kid gets a hold of it. But let me just put this, and I want to hear the rest of what you have to say.
30 seconds?
Is even in the Old West, when many, many, many towns made the patrons leave their guns at the front. You had to check your guns because they knew alcohol and guns don't mix. And before you got that back, if you came out and you were staggering, you didn't get your gun back. You can come back tomorrow, buddy, go sleep it off. Way back in the 1800s, they understood, that. Anyway, it's a good point. I want to come back to that so the radio folks can hear this.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat. It's Free for All Friday. We're talking about the horrible tragedy in Uvalde. It's going to stay with us because the controversy and the issue surrounding gun control is front and center, along with Ukraine, along with the spike in COVID. My goodness, just pick your depressing subject you want to talk about. But we're talking, and during the break, I put this premise forth because I don't know where I really stand on this now. I'm going to have to go to a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, Bullet.
Yep.
But I'm thinking, you can have a gun. A gun can be used to protect yourself, to get food and that sort of thing. But if you don't know how to use that gun, you can hurt yourself and others with it by reckless use of it because you just don't know how to handle it. And I made the analogy to a driver's license on a car. A car, yeah, is a mode of transportation, but it could absolutely be a deadly weapon, especially when you get behind that wheel when you're drunk. But you got to show a little bit of proficiency at driving that car, because it doesn't take a car to go very fast to kill somebody, especially a pedestrian or somebody on a bicycle. And you got to show a little bit that you know how to do this. They don't keep you in there long. You can miss 8 questions or 9 or 10 questions, I think, and still pass. You know, and you don't want to be, hey, what do you do when you see a sign that says stop on it? Well, I just step on it. Done through. Well, you miss that when you miss 6, but you still pass if you get the others correct. And Guillermo, and again, I don't know where I stand on this, but Guillermo, you in the break were adamantly against this. Tell the radio folks here your thoughts on that, and then we'll go to you, buddy.
Absolutely not. Because listen, whether the Democrats like it or not, or whether anybody likes it or not, the reality is the Second Amendment guarantees the right to protection. So putting together any type of driver's license type of test requirement before you can actually show that you're proficient in it would actually violate the Constitution. No right guaranteed by the Constitution should have some kind of test attached to it. And the same argument goes for, I think Florida raised the age from 18 to 21 to purchase a gun. And we'll have to ask Laura about it. But it's the same thing. The beer is not, if you think about it, is not a constitutional guarantee. So really, there shouldn't be any limit on your right to protect yourself.
Okay,
and it's tough.
Well, let me ask you this though. And I'm not one of those guys that thinks the Constitution is a living document to be changed. And I promise you, Bobby, you want to get your input on this. But on that point you just made, back in that day, the Constitution, there was training required before you had a gun. The parents taught the kid how to use that gun, how to walk. I was taught by my grandpa how to use that gun before I was allowed to take that gun out. The training was accepted in the families that you're going to learn to use that gun at a very early age. Again, how to use it properly, how to not get somebody hurt, including yourself. Nowadays, you have absolute rookies that just seen TV shows. People have gun go in there and buy it that don't know the first thing about handling a gun safely. And to me, is that really in keeping with the Constitution, which they couldn't foresee a time probably where a family would not teach their kids how to use a gun safely and properly. So I just kind of think that as I'm working through this, I understand exactly what you're saying. Now, my impulse is to go with you on that. I'm stepping back going, wait a minute. Different times. Back in there, they taught a kid as soon as they could walk how to use a gun. Robert?
Well, this is there's 2 sides to every nickel, and both you guys make great arguments. I don't know about a proficiency test. I know they're...
What a safety test.
Now, well, that's a different thing. The pundits are now comparing us to countries in Europe and saying, well, they have all these guns and they don't have all of these issues. Well, I looked some of those requirements for guns in Europe and what these folks they do have to take a proficiency test. They do have to show that they're capable of handling a firearm, that they know how to shoot it, and they do extensive background checks on these folks, even to check medical records and everything else to see if there's any kind of mental issue going on with this individual who wants.
Well, I never get one. I ran for mayor and became an actor.
Who wants a gun?
That's a mental health issue right there, man. I'd get dinged.
So I don't know about the proficiency test.
Well, take that out of it. Let's put safety on the table. Just answer a few questions, like a driver's test. Hey, if you have this gun, here's this rifle, and you're walking across a barbed wire fence, how do you do it? Well, you just have to do a little studying. Maybe it's out there on the internet. It's just some simple questions. Where are you going to keep the gun? Are you going to keep it secure, locked up? Is there family members there?
No, but
just a few questions.
Go ahead. We're focusing on the gun, and we got to be careful because all the focus on if he wouldn't have gotten a gun, evil is evil. You can't legislate away evil. That's the reality of this, and I think that if we just focus on the gun solely, we're already falling into the trap that the left is always try to position us, and that's what the left does. They force us into these corners. I mean, why are we talking so much about the gun? We obviously need to talk about law enforcement response.
Exactly.
They were there for over an hour.
Yes. We securing the schools.
hardening the schools.
Yep.
I mean, Alan, there's so much money that goes into schools. You're telling me that
I'm
in
with you.
Fresno, California, we can put a camera in a marijuana shop that goes straight to the police department, but somehow we can't figure that out for our most precious kids. You know how much money
100%.
Oh, come on. This is, and that's what I'm saying.
Well,
like,
there are a
I'm
number
okay.
of things we can do. That's
Yeah.
one of them.
Oh,
Yeah, and
You
if I said just on the show yesterday,
It's not a
if-
one-shot deal.
Exactly. And I said on the show the other day, it's got to happen sooner rather than later. If you continue, this society continues to let the kids run the show, let the kids be the parents and the parents be the kids, because the kids are the ones that came out and said, we don't want an armed officer on our campus because it makes me feel unsafe. No, well, sorry, the officer's there because he's here to protect you. And they're going to stay there. You know why? Because you're the kid, I'm the adult. I win. Okay?
yeah.
That's
amen.
what principals have to say. That's what teachers have to say. I love you. I've listened to your opinion, but I'm the adult. I know how better to protect you than you do at 13 and 14, okay? If you're drinking, I'm not going to let you get into a car with somebody else and go someplace when you're drunk in a car. You may think you're fine. You may get mad at me, but I don't care. I'm the adult, and I'm making this decision. And that's what's happened a lot. They've given to this woke far left that says a kid can pick their gender at 4 years old, to tell you who they want on campus at 13 years old, can walk off of a campus because they don't like the way things are going. So they're going to protest something. The whole you'd say if you go off this campus, there's going to be consequences. You want to go to college? You don't want to go to college? You got to learn to play. You got to learn to play by some rules. So I agree with you, Garrett, but my point is, can we have, I hate to use this cliche, but walk and chew gum at the same time? And that's why it's so important to discuss the gun, some common sense gun control reforms, if you will. The mental health aspect be addressed, and the protection of the Second Amendment rights, and other ways to protect schools, as you said, hardening the infrastructure, having one entrance egress in there, having some people that know how to use that gun. Because you notice what happened when the expert got there from the Border Patrol. The guy he knew what he was doing. I mean, threat over within less than a couple of minutes. He knew what he was doing. That's where they get these. And you have somebody like that on your campus. I mean, I agree with you. Can't we do it all?
Yeah.
Can't we do it all? Go ahead.
Here's the other thing that I think we have to keep in mind. There's so many elements to this, and one element that no one really wants to admit is American culture. I heard President Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and it was kind of almost a prepared response. The first thing I heard after the first couple of hours we're the only country that this happens to. This doesn't happen in any other country. It was almost instantaneous. Here's the problem with that argument. There's also another country where guns are commonplace, and you have 18-year-olds that have guns that are walking around serving their country, and that is Israel. You don't have such a big problem with that. You have 18-year-olds that are serving their country, that are surrounded by enemies, and they know how to use a gun.
When are they first taught how to use that gun? Do you have that information? I'm not trying to play catch you. I'm just really interested.
No, it's
from a very early age.
It's when they enter the IDF. Is when
but you know the training with a gun obviously started in the home of the is very early age. They didn't.
I don't know if it started in the home, but I'm sure at 18 when they start going into the IDF, they get some training and then they figure out where they're going to serve their country. But this is American culture. You have kids that are bullied at a very young age now. Unfortunately, you have the advent of social media. Social media is vicious. These kids are having to, undergo this type of bullying that you nor I nor Bob's really young, so he might have had to deal with it, because he just got out of school. But you know what I'm saying? They deal with this, and then you have these first-person shooter games. Oh, Guillermo, they've been around for a while. Yeah, but now everyone has a phone, and you can download these first-person shooter.
I know where you're going. I'm tracking with you, and I'm with you on this.
This is, I hate to go there, but you also have a lot of homes, and a lot of these shooters now, they don't have a mom or a dad. They don't have a male figure. I mean, a lot of these kids are bullied, societal pressure. Let's start talking about the culture that we're fostering in some of our American schools.
Exactly. And on top of that, you have a lot of them medicated to the hilt with medications that we don't have enough data on, of how these antidepressants of what they actually do. If you see the list of side effects on the antidepressants, and then when you go off of them, I mean, you look at that and go, geez, man, cost
no wonder.
Risk analysis. I mean, my goodness, you throw that on top of everything you just said.
Kids are so fouled up, they don't know which end is up.
But I think we all agree, well, the woke far left, you'll never get them. But I think it begins with a non-negotiable, and that is you have to really harden the schools to where you can't just walk in multiple exits, open doors, entrances to these schools. You get somebody on campus that knows how to handle that gun, that can go straight at that shooter. God forbid they come to the campus. And as you said, Guillermo, I just we'll see how it unfolds. I think the Republicans are going to be forced to go in and do some kind of negotiation on some improvements in it. But I'm with you. I will never support anything that infringes on Second Amendment rights. We just got a few seconds ago, Bobby. Your final thoughts on this?
I agree with both of you guys. I think there has to be some kind of a middle ground, and we have to get some people together on both sides of the aisle. I really believe that, and because something's got to be done with regard to the issues that we're facing on this gun issue, because this cannot happen again.
Guillermo?
Cannot.
Hey, all the parents and all the kids listening, if you know someone is struggling at your school, you know it, tell someone, alert someone, and don't be afraid to make a friend. A lot of these young men, they just needed someone to intervene. So, educators, look out for everyone.
Great words to end on. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Love you so much. God bless you. God bless your families. And remember, just do your best and let God do the rest. That's all he expects of you. So that's all you should expect of yourself. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye now.